Hello. I'd like to talk to everybody who considers themselves an atheist, who calls himself an atheist. What I'd like to ask you is this. What do you mean when you say that you're an atheist? Do you say that there is no God and that there's no possibility for a God to exist? Or are you really an agnostic who says that there's no evidence for God but does not deny the possibility that God exists or could exist? Now, what I'd like to do, I'd like to talk to those of you who seriously say that you're an atheist, meaning that you're saying there is no God and that there's no possibility for a God to exist. Now, what I'd like to know is, what do you base your belief on? And do you consider your belief to be the truth? Because when you really consider it, there's no way that any human being on earth could say truthfully that there is no God. And the reason that no person on earth can honestly say that is because there's not any human being on earth who knows or understands everything that exists. So while that is the truth, that means there's always a possibility to learn, since none of us know everything in existence. And at the same time, it also remains a possibility that for the atheists, that the God they don't know today, they will come to know sometime in the future. Now that's a possibility. Whether, you want that to be or not, it still remains a possibility. Now, I know that you could also reverse the script and say that the God I believe in today, since I'm also learning, that the God I believe in today, sometime in the future, I may not believe in, or that I may say doesn't exist. That's fair. If you want to try to reverse the script, that's fair. You can do that. You can try that at least. But I would honestly tell you that there's no way in truth that I could tell you that God does not exist. And the reason I could not tell you that is because the God that I believe in, the God that I know, I have a relationship with. And not only me, but there's been millions and millions of people today and throughout the the past generations that have also had a relationship with the same living God that I know. Now the God that I know, his name is Yahweh, or you can call him Jehovah. In the Hebrew scriptures, his name is spelled YHWH. His son's name is Jesus. And as you know, Jesus came to earth approximately 2,000 years ago. Now, I speak to you not trying to, start a fight or anything like that, but God has a lot of love for you. And the time period that we live in right now is important because it's called the end times. Not because it's going to end finally, but there's a phase that we're in right now, and that is the dominion of mankind, the rulership of mankind on this earth is about to come to a close. And while you have an opportunity, I encourage you to come, at least be open to knowing God and his Son, because there's a lot of love for you from God and his Son, and there's plenty of forgiveness of sins for everyone. There's a lot of love for you, those of you who call yourself atheists. Now, as far as evidence goes, there's plenty of evidence for the existence of God. It might not be in the form that you'd want it in, but nevertheless, there's plenty of evidence for God. And I put this question to you also. Is evidence for the existence of God what you really want? Because evidence for something is not necessarily I guarantee you're going to believe in God or acknowledge God in the way, in the way of acknowledging Him in truth for who He really is. In other words, is it that you don't believe in God exists, or is it that you don't want to believe in God? Okay, if God were to prove Himself to you today, would you accept Him for who He is? Or would you hate Him? Because there's plenty of people who know that God exists, but yet they hate Him. They hate God and they hate His Son. So, just ask yourselves what you really believe, because time is short, and don't deny yourself the life and the hope that really does exist in the true living God, whose name is Yahweh, or you can call Him Jehovah. God bless you. Take care.